Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming. Welcome to another Snap Judgment review. What is a Snap Judgment review if you've never watched before? Well, I think nowadays people get too much into the 100%ing of games. They kind of miss the overall fun factor that you get right off the bat. So, for what I do, I get about 5 to 10 hours with these games, and I'm trying to give you an idea whether you're going to enjoy it right off the bat or not. Because of that, and the fact that I think games are one of the most subjective forms of art, I won't be giving you a score to this review. Instead, I'll be telling you what the game is overall. Then I'll be telling you a list of the pros and the cons of the game, in my point of view, as all reviews are. And then I'll be telling you whether I'll be sticking with this game outside the purposes of this video. So, what am I reviewing today? Well, I am reviewing Rollerdrome. Now, this is an older game, but it has just now come to Xbox via Game Pass, so I thought, what better chance to get into it, see what it's all about. It was something that looked really interesting to me. This is a game that's private division. It's a little bit more of an indie game, and it's basically kind of the blood sport of the future. You shoot on roller skates. It's kind of crazy. You're seeing the background right here. The story is pretty simple. There's not much to it. This review actually isn't going to be that big, to be honest. There's not too much to say about this. You're a person trying to get into this blood sport. Obviously, there's some shady things going on behind the blood sport. But what the game is overall is you are presented with an arena. Then you start roller skating into that arena. You reload by doing tricks a la Tony Hawk style on your roller skates. At the same time, you're shooting bad guys and trying to dodge the bad guys. Which is very interesting. So you have to constantly weigh shooting, dodging, and doing tricks to get ammo back. In addition to that, their overall levels work on a challenge system. So beating the level or surviving the level isn't enough. You have to beat it at a certain time level with a certain score. You have to do certain tricks at certain times, collect certain tokens throughout the map, do certain activities to collect these challenges. Each map seems to have roughly 10 challenges. And then how it's broken down is it's broken down into like kind of 4 events. Quarterfinals, qualifying, quarterfinals, semifinals, and then finals. Each one has like a certain amount of maps. And then the idea is as you progress through these maps, you have to unlock a certain number of challenges in order to unlock the next stage. So I think there's 4 maps in the qualifying, there's 3 maps in the quarterfinals. There's 2 maps in the semis and then 1 map in the finals. Obviously, I did not get through this game. It actually becomes rather difficult and challenging, and I don't see any real way to turn up or down the difficulty. In fairness, there might be. I didn't play with the options that much. But yeah, so that's basically the game. You're seeing it on the screen here. And it's kind of like presented in this kind of cell-shaded kind of form, but also in kind of the form of like B-80s action movies, kind of like Rollerball from the 80s. Even like Thunderdome, stuff like that. That kind of music. The soundtrack kind of reflects that with a lot of heavy synth stuff. And yeah, I mean that's really the experience that you're having. So without further ado, let's get into the actual gameplay. Well, pros. I always like to go positive first. First of all, I love the style of this game. I think the cell shading actually really fits it. I know there's a lot of people, even some of our fans, who don't necessarily like cell shading, but I don't know, it just feels right in this area. And I just love the presentation. It gets you right into the action. There is like some story beats between each little thing. So like right when you start, you get like a locker room. You can kind of explore that locker room and gain kind of more about the story via context clues. And then the same thing happens when you make it to the quarters, and I'm sure the semis and finals and all that. I only made it up to the quarters because of the challenge system, which we're going to talk a little bit in the cons, in my opinion. But the style of it is really cool. It definitely has this real way to make you feel badass to it, kind of invoking those old school like Max Payne vibes. Because you do also have this bullet time mechanic where you hold and it kind of slows down time, and I just really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed how that kind of comes together and makes you feel really cool. There are a lot of people shooting at you at once, and it is, I would say, difficult sometimes to dodge, but when you do dodge, it makes it very, very a rewarding feeling. Bringing me to the weapons. The weapons are another pro of mine. I like them. You start with dual pistols, and then you gain a shotgun, and immediately you can tell the difference between the two. Like, it's visceral. The shotgun has a different mechanic to it, how you shoot it, the pacing of it, how you do damage. Same with the dual pistols. Dual pistols are all about shooting as many bullets as you can in bullet time, something a little bit more akin to what you should be doing when you start off, whereas the shotgun is much more about timing your shots perfectly and hitting those buttons almost on a rhythm. I thought that was really cool. However, there are only 4 weapons in the game, which I think will speak to the cons a little bit. But yeah, I thought they were very different, and I enjoyed the different mechanics of them. Next, big pro, I gotta give to the music. I love the music. The music really pumps you up. It's got this old school 80s synth feel to it, and if I can manage to get a sample at the end, I will for you guys. And I just really loved it. Really loved how pumping it is and how much it pumps you up. It definitely makes you feel like you're in one of those kind of 80s B-rate movies. Let's get into the cons, though. Let's jump over to the cons. What didn't I like about this game? Well, my biggest problem, I think, is how bare bones it is. It definitely feels like there could have been a lot more game here, especially with the lack of a multiplayer, which I'm not going to lie, when I saw the original announcement trailer for this years ago, I thought it was a multiplayer game. I thought it was like a Battle Royale style thing. It's not at all. Instead, it is just this single player story, and there's no real narrative to it. There is a narrative, but it's not. It's kind of buried in context stuff, and I would have much rather, if they were going to do a narrative, be more about the narrative. Instead, this is much more about the grinding of challenges, which brings me to my next problem, which is the challenge system. I feel like the creators of this didn't want this to feel small, so instead of just allowing you to get through each map individually, they attach this challenge system into it. So to get out of the qualifying, you have to get a certain number of challenges completed over all 4 of the maps there. Keep in mind there's only 10 for each different area. And then same for the second, third, and fourth and all that. It's a little annoying. It forces you to play the same maps over and over and over again, and don't get me wrong, I don't mind a grind, but I don't like being locked behind the grind. It just forces you into this weird place with the narrative where you're excited to see what comes next, but you can't because you're just locked behind this challenge amount. I would have much rather been able to go through every map, get through the game myself, and then go back and do the challenges where I saw fit and try and ace them kind of in that way. I didn't like the progress being hampered by the challenges, and it definitely made you feel this like forced grind. All of this, same with the weapons. There just wasn't enough here. I felt like this was a really good demo for a game that's still going to come out. I know that's really negative, and I hate to be negative in any of these reviews. Everybody out there knows that. But I didn't spend that much time with this, and like lower end of the 5, and I felt like I had seen just about everything the game had to offer, and that's no fun. I don't mind a short game either. I like some short games. They're some of my favorite games are short games, but you still have to kind of like commit to it then and just be like, it's short. Let's do some stuff with that. And I feel like they tried to have their cake and eat it too with this challenge system, and I found it very frustrating and irritating. Which brings me to whether or not I'm going to stick with it. I'm probably not going to stick with it. Again, I very rarely review games that I say I'm not going to stick with it about. I don't think this game is bad. I think most people who play it are going to have an enjoyable experience right off the bat. I want to say that right up front. I don't necessarily think that like anybody playing this is going to hate their time with it. It's just I feel like the challenge system really hampers you. It forces you into this kind of grindy space, and then and then it almost has the reverse effect of what they wanted. Whereas they wanted to almost make it feel like it was more content than it was, it actually kind of highlights the fact that there's not as much content there, I feel like. So, yeah, I don't know. That's where I'm at with that. I don't think I'm going to play more of it, just given all the games that have come out, all the games that I'm into right now. I think if this was a short year, I would definitely go back to it, but it's just not, and there's a lot of things for me to play right now that this is not going to pull me in. This isn't going to pull me in. Nonetheless, it's very fun. It is very fun for what it is. I don't think anybody playing it is going to not like it, and it might have just not been for me. So maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I got it right. Let me know in the comments below. You can also contact us on Facebook at OldManGamingDH, on Twitter at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord. Links in the description below. Influence this and all of our shows from there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as long as you keep watching and listening, I'll keep making them.
Eliminated.